The new secretary is doing exactly what we need to do. Remember, the VA was not created for bureaucracy. It was created for the veteran. And as it has grown over the last 10 years, it's grown with leaps and bounds, but the product itself that they deliver has not gotten better. When you talk to the veterans that are trying to receive health care, they have long wait lines, even the problems that they had several years ago. But since then, we have carried some legislation over the last several years with the Mission Act and also with the PACT Act, all of these things to make sure that we're trying to provide for the veterans. The problem is the bureaucracy is weighing it down, and therefore what the secretary did when he came in was exactly the statement that I've made before, and that is we're not going to cut the services. We're going to make sure that the services are delivered for our veterans at the best possible quality, and doing it at an affordable price, because what we've discovered is, like every place else, there's waste, fraud, and abuse that occurs, and it is through the bureaucratic nightmare that is the 477,000 employees. Now think about this. 477,000 employees is what the VA has. Let me tell you that we're working right now to make sure that veterans get the health care and services they need where they need it and when they need it. Working with their doctor and making decisions for themselves for choice. That doesn't mean we're going to privatize the VA. Let me clarify that with your listeners right now. We're not privatizing VA, but we are allowing the veteran to make their choice to receive their care where they want and when they want. When we talk about when the secretary came in and he said, we're going to analyze everything. And they have drug out some, there was a case where he put an inter-VA email out that tried to explain what he was trying to do. And when he did, and he explains this, that he gave it to the higher echelon members of VA staff. And in there, they were talking about possibly trying to go down to 2019 levels. And with that, they used those numbers to say 80,000, okay? Well, about 20 of his staffers leaked that to the press. Well, that's right, because when you're looking to reduce staffing, maybe those 20 are the first need to go. So, and that's a problem, because he's trying to organize and reorganize in a way that's best for the veterans. But he has made a promise, and I make that promise. No veteran will lose their services. Anybody that's came up and asked me that. Do you know how many we've actually had laid off so far?
No.
2,000 of 477,000. 477,000. You get that in a turnover a week when you have 477,000 employees. And then when you ask about the VASC program, which was a program that was created by Biden during COVID, and here's the problem with the VASC program. Remember this, our Veterans Home Loan Program is a program that has been successful for years. It's one of the best programs we have at the VA, to give the low interest loans that are guaranteed by the U.S. government so that they get a lesser interest rate and that they can be sure that they can have the opportunity of achieving the American dream, which is own their own home. But when you do that, like anything, there are people, veterans too, that get themselves in financial binds. Now, when they created the VASC program, we didn't like the VASC program because rather than giving it an opportunity to help them with the problem they were having to get them through it, it actually took it. And remember this, the VA is not a bank. It is a securitor for the bank, okay? This program went in and basically put us in the banking business, where we actually took the loans. And the loans were averaging about $327,000 for each one of these loans. And what it was going to do, if we kept it in place, it was going to break the overall Veterans Home Loan Program that has worked for years. So what we're doing now is we're carrying and so VA stopped it, because this was by administrative rule. VA stopped that, and they stopped that program. But when they did, if we have people that are in need out there, we're trying to get a program right now to where we secure the part that they really do owe on an average, which is $25,000. So we still save the program long range and do what it needs to do, but we stay out of the banking business.
Is that Congress that will write a bill?
That's a law. That is a law that we moved out off the floor yesterday out of the House. We're hoping to be picked up in the Senate, moved very quickly, so that we can help those that are in need right now after the VASC program has gone away.
And do you have any other bills that you're mulling over to help veterans in the VA?
Oh, there's a whole lot of bills we're doing right now. One of them is to protect the veterans. One of my pet peeves, and we got that out too, is since the Brady bill 35 years ago, if you remember Brady, after he was wounded in the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan, they passed a whole lot of bills, and the interpretation of those bills through the VA's attorneys, along with the Department of, along with the attorneys from NICS, the NICS unit, believed and have interpreted for those 35 years that if a veteran actually receives a fiduciary without due process, they have their Second Amendment rights removed. I have a bill to reinstate their Second Amendment rights that gives them due process, not through some bureaucrat, but like any other person who's not a veteran that goes through and somebody says, hey, I believe they're a danger to themselves or a danger to others, and then you can get a court to take them in, hear the case, and then process if a person is going to lose their right to carry our own.
So that's a civilian court without.
That is correct. That is correct. Why in the world would we have a law in place, and I don't believe it says that, but at any rate, but we have a law that they're interpreting that says we're going to take somebody who fought for our rights in the Constitution's rights away without due process when nobody else has that happen.
Yeah.
And so the bill that I've got corrects that. We have been able to correct it through a budgetary action in the last couple budgets, and we were able to do that to block it for right now. But we want to make it permanent so that and here's another problem with that when it's out there. Veterans go to coffee shops around this nation, especially in what is referred to as flyover country, and they talk to each other, and all of a sudden they hear the story of that, and what they do is, unfortunately, we got a lot of veterans that don't go to the VA in the fear that they would lose that right, because many of those veterans want to go hunting with their grandchildren or their children, or to protect their home and property. And they don't want to go through a situation where all of a sudden the VA turns their names over to the NICS list and all of a sudden they're removed their right. So that's a bill that's out there. We've got a lot of bills that we're working on right now. We just moved about 7 bills yesterday, 1 bill today, dealing with everything that you can imagine, revising certain programs, refunding certain programs, and making sure that the programs are improving for our veterans.